Police say a 16-year-old is accused of shooting and killing her own mother. And now investigators are trying to figure out why. The shooting happened just before 8 o'clock last night at a home on Avenue Q near 52nd Street. Orko Amana spoke with the family today. He is live from the Galveston Police Department with the latest. Orko.
Well, Sherman, the mother of the woman who died told me over the phone that she heard the gunshots last night and said it was a complete surprise. She's wondering why her granddaughter could have done something like this, and that's the question police and neighbors want answered to.
The porch is still slick with the night's heat when the first screams snap a quiet block awake. Shouting, then gunfire, several shots, fast and close, and a mother collapses steps from her front door. Neighbors freeze, doors slam, and fear bolts the locks from the inside. She is rushed to the hospital, and the fight for her life is short. The firearm recovered at the scene tells its own story. Witnesses point to the most unthinkable suspect. Police confirm what the street is already whispering. The accused is her 16-year-old daughter, who fled, returned, and was taken into custody without a struggle. The home that once held 5 children's voices becomes a crime scene with too many echoes. This is not a mystery about a stranger in the dark. This is a tragedy where the circle remains unbroken and still manages to swallow its center. A devoted mother is killed in the place she worked to make safe. The family loses 2 people at once, one to death, one to the justice system. And a neighborhood that had reported no problems suddenly can't stop hearing gunshots long after the sirens leave. It isn't just that a firearm was within reach. It's that the warning signs, whatever they were, never became a plan, never became help, and never became a wall strong enough to keep the worst moment from happening. Before we go deeper, I want you to picture your own block at night. If you heard shouting outside, if you heard those shots, would you step out or stay at the window and call? Comment outside or window and tell us why. That decision isn't about bravery. It's about how families and neighbors survive moments like this. Welcome to the Crime Anatomy. We uncover the real stories behind the nation's most disturbing cases. If stories like this matter to you, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss an episode.
Thank you.
Blow it, make a wish. Blow it out. All right.
Thank you.
Hey.
He say I'm pretty. If you love me, better die for this kitty. Itty bitty titty committee.
Tiamoya Moore was 34. She grew up in Lamarck, Texas, and spent part of her youth in California. To people who knew her family, childhood friends, and neighbors, she was remembered as a woman who had changed her life through faith and hard work. She was described again and again as generous, spiritual, and devoted to her children. Her closest friends say she would give you the shirt off her back. That phrase hums with ordinary meaning, but after her death, it reads like testimony. She was not merely tolerant. She was someone who had turned her life toward faith and family. Those choices were obvious to her circle. They watched her mother their children with fierce care. She was a mother of 5. Her eldest, a daughter named Rania, was 16. Social media and family posts show pride and presence. Messages of longing for children away. Posts celebrating recitals. Comments about dance and milestones. At moments, Moore spoke of her children's futures with hope. At others, she offered the steady, practical support of a parent who had decided to build a better life. But ordinary devotion does not immunize a family against crisis. It only raises the stakes when crisis comes. The relationship between Tiamoya and Rania was not always fractured. When Rania was younger, they were close. There were dance recitals, shared celebrations, pictures that read like a mother's daily pride. But adolescence widened the gap. Family accounts and public posts tell a story of escalation. Arguments became more frequent. Withdrawal became more common. And tensions that had once been managed in private became more visible. On June 29, 2022, a post circulated. Rania had run away and was missing for over 24 hours. The family searched and eventually posted that she had been found safe. That episode was not the only alarm, but it was a marked one, a public plea that signaled instability and worry. Family members report that Rania sometimes lived with relatives in California. They say Moore did everything she could, handing her daughter to relatives for stability, encouraging reconnection with family on that side, trying to create breathing room. Those efforts are consistent with a parent attempting every available path to prevent escalation. And they are also consistent with the exhaustion families describe when the options run out. Friends and family have been frank. They believe mental health struggles were central. Alicia Giesinger, a lifelong friend who called Tiamoya family, put it bluntly, mental health is real. If a child is troubled, then a child is troubled. You can only help them so much. That is family testimony. It is not a clinical diagnosis, but it is the lived reality of people who watched warning signs for some time. Rania was active on social platforms. Posts and images highlighted dance and youth life. But family accounts also point to distressing online moments, flashes that, in the family's view, signaled emotional turmoil. Again, we will not display private content here. We rely on what the family and public posts show and on their interpretation. That social media was both an outlet and sometimes a pressure point. Micro cliffhanger narrator, a runaway. Periods away with relatives. Social posts that both celebrated and hinted at pain. These were the threads that over years braided into an unsteady rope. What would that rope bear on the night of September 11th? That night would answer the question with the cruelty of a final act. September 11th, 2025. The evening began in a way only neighbor testimony can tell us. Quiet, then sudden. Reports say that by 7:49 p.m., neighbors had called police after hearing several gunshots and screaming. One neighbor said she hid in her home, terrified by the sound of repeated booms. Another described the shock of hearing someone scream in that voice, a human sound that splits a neighborhood's ordinariness. When officers arrived, they found Tiamoya on her porch, critically wounded by multiple gunshot injuries. She was given immediate aid and rushed to the UTMB emergency room. Despite the work of paramedics and hospital staff, she was pronounced dead from her injuries. Witnesses told police the suspected shooter had fled the scene on foot before officers arrived. As investigators processed the scene, the teen returned and was taken into custody without incident. A firearm was recovered at or near the crime scene. The youth was transported to the Jerry J. Esmond Juvenile Justice Center and charged with murder. A mother is dead. A daughter is charged. A neighborhood that once whispered no problems now struggles to reconcile the ordinary with the unimaginable. But arrest is not explanation. It is only the legal beginning. The aftermath landed like a weight. Family members described confusion, heartbreak, and fury. People who knew Tiamoya in Lamarck and Galveston remembered a woman who loved her children fiercely and had fought to change her life for the better. Friends and family held vigils and posted tributes, trying to steady the shock by naming what they loved about her. But those in the family also voiced a maddening awareness. The signs had been there. Family friends said that Moore tried everything she could. Living arrangements, outreach to relatives, celebrations of her children's successes, and public pleas when Rania was missing. Still, the escalation continued. The family's grief was not only for the mother, who died. It was for the sister now in custody. It was for the children left without a parent and the community left without an answer. When a family loses a parent to violence inflicted from inside the home, multiple losses compound. Grief, trust, daily routine, and the quiet safety a parent represents. The question that follows is often not only who did this, but what could have been done differently.
Days I've been feeling like I'm losing my mind. I was questioning, like, why? Why would you do this to your own mama? I just can't believe she's gone, for real.
When you got the news,
I was devastated. Devastated. Didn't want to believe it. Tia will give you the shirt literally off of her back. Tia loved her kids, would do anything for her kids. She was very spiritual, very into God, changed her life around for God. I just want to know what really, like, what caused for that to get to this point to where you had to take your own mama's life.
After the shooting, the teen, identified by family sources as Rainier, was taken into custody without incident. A firearm was recovered at or near the scene. She was transported to the Jerry J. Esmond Juvenile Justice Center and charged with murder. Beyond these immediate facts, the public record in the material we have does not include trial outcomes, plea disposals, sentencing, or detailed motions. That absence is significant. It leaves the community and the victim's family waiting for transparency, for charging documents, police reports, and court filings that will clarify what evidence prosecutors rely upon and how the case will proceed, to help viewers understand what could follow. Juvenile cases operate under a different legal framework than adult prosecutions. They often include evaluations, hearings, and a focus on rehabilitation as well as accountability. In some jurisdictions, under certain circumstances, prosecutors may seek to transfer a juvenile to adult court. We are not claiming any transfer was sought here. We are only outlining the processes that typically exist, so viewers know what to watch for in public records. Charging documents, police reports, and juvenile court dockets. Accountability, in this case, has multiple faces. Criminal accountability asks whether the state can, through evidence and procedure, prove a charge. Institutional accountability demands transparency in the police response and the investigation. Systemic accountability asks whether the broader supports that help families in crisis were available and effective. Each layer is distinct and each matters. This story is not a parable. It is a composite of choices, limits, and resource gaps. The family's public posts and testimonies reveal a chain: repeated instability, public pleas for help, temporary living arrangements, and a mother who tried again and again to save her child. Those are the facts. The deeper questions are about the systems that should have supported them. One piece of the problem, family members say, is access to mental health care. The evidence in our materials is not a clinical record. It is a pattern of behavior the family described as troubling. Withdrawal, runs, emotional volatility, and a public plea when a child was missing. In many communities, parents face cost, stigma, and wait lists that make sustained therapy impossible. For this family, those barriers meant that interventions were intermittent at best. Another piece is communication. Homes under constant strain often default to patterns of conflict. Arguments morph into control battles. A slammed door becomes a shorthand for deeper disconnection. In this household, family members report that arguments intensified over time. Escalations that their mother tried to manage with love, structure, and last resorts like having a child stay with relatives in another state. Finally, there's access to a firearm. In homes with adolescent turmoil, the presence of a gun changes everything. The family material points to the tragic fact that a weapon was recovered at or near the scene. We will not speculate on storage or access beyond the evidence provided. But the presence of a firearm is a critical factor. It transforms a heated moment into an irreversible one. The threads are clear: a troubled teen, a mother doing everything she could, limited options, and a firearm within reach. Each alone is alarming. Together, they create a path to catastrophe. Tiamoya's story is not just about a night of violence. It's about the years of effort she put into being a mother, the transformation she committed to, and the community that knew her as a woman who gave. Honoring her means more than saying her name. It means building homes and neighborhoods where conflict doesn't end in eulogies. It means deciding that prevention is not a slogan, but a set of daily habits. It means refusing to accept that a quiet block is the same as a safe one. What is one concrete step you believe your community could take this month to prevent tragedies like this? More accessible counseling at schools, neighborhood conflict mediation, a church-led safe storage initiative, or something else? Drop that step in the comments. Your ideas are the start of someone else's safety plan. And if this kind of work matters to you, if you want true crime told with facts, respect, and a focus on prevention, subscribe and share this story. The more people who see it, the more families might get the help they need before their worst night arrives. This is the Crime Anatomy. We tell these stories to honor the people at their center and to demand better from the systems around them. For Tiamoya Moore, for her children, for every family living on a fault line they can't see until it shifts, we can do more than grieve. We can build. We can knock on doors before sirens knock us awake. We can choose to treat safety as a community practice, not a prayer. And we can make sure that when a mother stands on her porch at night, the only sound is the sound of home. Thank you for watching.